This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
Here's your report.
Oh, thanks, Jane. I wish I could hire someone just like you.
Try LinkedIn Hiring Pro. It's more than a job board. It's like the recruiter you always wished you had. Hiring Pro uses real-time insights to match your role to LinkedIn's unique network of professionals and delivers a short list of best fit candidates. You'll spend less time sorting applicants and more time talking to the right people.
Let's do it. You're irreplaceable, Jane, but another you would be great.
Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
Welcome to Holocron History, Star Wars Canon versus Legend. Join us as we take a deep dive into the lore of the Star Wars universe.
Hello and welcome to the Holocron Histories podcast. I am one of your hosts, Austin, also known as Teacup. And if I sound a little different, or if you're watching this video, whether on YouTube or live with us, that is because I am at work and I do not have my normal microphone. So please forgive any audio discrepancies that happen with that.
Yeah, it's okay. And I'm your other host, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria. And we finally made it. We are in the triple digits as of today.
All right. Triple digits. The three is an important number in Star Wars trilogies. There originally were 3 lightsaber colors that we knew about.
True.
You know, there were 3 Mortis gods. 3 is important.
3 is a very important number in the Star Wars universe. But for something special for our episode 100, we had this request way far back. I can't remember when. But we had a request to do a episode about Swtor. And that's what we're doing today for our episode 100. So, if anybody doesn't know, Swtor, or Star Wars The Old Republic, is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, or MMORPG, was produced and released by BioWare. And you might know another podcast that deals with the BioWare game that Austin's associated with, which is a subsidiary of EA.
So, not anymore. They are not.
Oh, that's right. They're not?
Well, Dragon Age is, but
okay.
Swtor is no longer a BioWare game.
Right, which we'll get into later. Yeah, this is just when it was first coming out. But yeah, as everybody knows, BioWare is not the developer of Swtor anymore, which we will, I think I have that in the show notes here, I think. But we'll get into it. Developed over the course of more than 5 years by BioWare, Austin, and LucasArts at the cost of over $200 million. Star Wars: The Old Republic was first conceived in 2005 as an MMORPG follow-up to BioWare's previous video games, the popular Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and its sequel, Knights of the Old Republic 2: The Sith Lords, and the game was first announced on October 21st, 2008. So, yeah, there's a major gap from KOTOR 2 to Swtor, as in year-wise. KOTOR 1 and 2 only had, I think, a year gap. Yeah, it was only a year between each other. And I think it might be less than that, depending on development. I think it might have been less than a year in release time. But Star Wars: The Old Republic succeeded Sony's Star Wars Galaxies in Empire Divided as the main Star Wars MMO, and Galaxies went permanently offline shortly before The Old Republic was released in December of 2011. So over 300 years after the events of the Knights of the Old Republic games, The Old Republic features 17 fully explorable planets, 8 unique classes, divided into the Galactic Republic and Sith Empire factions. and have over 1,600 hours of story in addition to over a dozen group flashpoints and operations, and it is the first MMORPG to feature full-scale voice acting.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I didn't play this when it first came out, but I recently, in like the last couple of years, played it, and I've only ever completed fully the Jedi Knight storyline.
That's fair.
So I
Yeah.
haven't done
There's
any of the
so much to
expansions,
do.
and part of it is like I cannot stand flashpoints because I don't necessarily have a big group of friends to come play with, and solo flashpoints are doable, but
They
not
just
fun.
take forever. So
Yes.
for anybody so this is just base game right here, what we just went over. This is not including any expansions that we will go over here in a bit, but yeah, there's a lot to do. Flashpoints and operations. So if anybody's not knowing what those are, so flashpoints are 4-man dungeons, and operations are 8-man dungeons. So it's similar to Final Fantasy 14, where you actually have dungeons, which are a 4-man group, and then you have raids, which are an 8-man group. So similar to that, or Destiny, you could put Destiny in there where strikes are a 3-man group. It's not 4, but it's a 3-man group. And raids are I think 6 or 8. I can't remember what raids are in Destiny. But those are what the flashpoints and operations are. But the main thing is, it's the first MMORPG to feature full-scale voice acting. Now, there's another one that has full-scale voice acting, but it wasn't out yet, which is The Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yeah.
Because that has full voice acting, but that didn't release until 2014, I believe. 2013, 2014 is when ESO dropped. So, the game features extensive references to pre-existing Star Wars continuity and introduces thousands of new characters, location, items, groups, and events in the Star Wars universe as it dictates the conflict between the Republic and the Empire. With the discarding of the expanded universe on April 25th, 2014, which is when Disney bought Star Wars, Star Wars The Old Republic is the only remaining source of that continues to produce Legends information aside from the official Star Wars blog. Which is true, and that's still true today. Like, well, I don't know about the Star Wars blog, but with the Old Republic specifically, it is the only thing that we have that is only Legends continuity that is still constantly being produced. And that's because it's just a successful game. It's celebrated we're on the 11th year for Swtor. It's been over 10 years. And then over 1 million subscribers registered in the first 3 days following the Old Republic's release, and over 1 million had begun to play the Old Republic by December 26, making it the fastest growing subscription MMORPG in history. The Old Republic has received generally positive reviews from critics with a score of 85 on the review aggression website Metacritic, though it has received some criticism by players for the lack of late game content, which has led to the game developers to focus on the addition of upper level content in many of their updates. Due to the declining subscription number during the summer of 2012, the Old Republic introduced the free to play option in November of 2012 in the game's first digital expansion, Rise of the Hutt Cartel, which was released in April of 2013. Yeah, they went. That's when I started playing. Is when they went to the free to play style. I never played during the first year when it was subscription based, and when they went to free to play, that's when I started playing. Personally, because it was free, and at the time I didn't have a job, so. The Old Republic has received several dozens major content updates so far, and the second digital expansion, Galactic Starfighter, was released to free-to-play users in February 2014. Galactic Starfighter was released to active subscribers on December 3rd, 2013, and the release to preferred status players on January 14th. The third digital expansion, Galactic Strongholds, was released in August 2014, which So Starfighter is the PvP Starfighter combat stuff. And then Galactic Strongholds is essentially the housing system. For like anybody who plays RPGs, it's a house that you can fully customize. Which are nice because they have a lot of variety now since the game's been out for so long, which is really cool. The fourth expansion, Shadow of Revan, was released on December 9th, with the next two digital expansions, Knights of the Fallen Empire, which was October 27th, 2015, and Knights of the Eternal Throne, December 2nd, 2016. That took the game into a narrative twist, focusing on a new faction, the Eternal Empire, which those two expansions are amazing. Holy crap, they are great. And then on April 13th, 2019, it was announced the seventh expansion would be coming to the game, titled Onslaught. Onslaught was released on October 22nd, 2019. And then the celebration of the 10th anniversary and 8th expansion was announced on July 1st, 2021, titled Legacy of the Sith. Legacy of the Sith was released on February 15th, 2022. Which both of those expansions are great too. Onslaught's really cool because it brings in a lot of characters from previous base game content back. Which, I'm not going to dive into the stories of the expansions because that's a lot, and you can go play it yourself, which is super nice. For all the expansions, you can actually just subscribe for 1 month and get access to all the expansions, and you don't have to subscribe any longer after the 1 month. And you can just play those expansions because they're on your account, which is super nice. But then in June of 2023, BioWare handed off maintenance and development of Star Wars: The Old Republic to Broadsword Online Games. Majority of the Old Republic development team at BioWare was intended to join Broadsword to continue the work on the game. So that's where we are today. Broadsword Online Games now took over the development of Swtor, but because of the move, a lot of the BioWare team that were on the developing the game previously moved over to Broadsword, which is super nice. So
yeah,
I mean the game is phenomenal. There is a lot to do in this game, and that's an understatement. 1,600 hours on just the base game. That's not including all the freaking expansions, which add way more content. Now, I will say Rise of the Hutt Cartel and Shadow Revan are the shortest of all the expansions. They're not that long. Specifically, Rise of the Hutt Cartel. That's a very short expansion. You can do that probably within like 3 to 4 hours. Tops. Maybe more. Maybe a little bit more. Shadow Revan's where things get a little interesting because you bring in the whole Revan factor.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they did two major ones, Knights of the Eternal Empire and Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne. Oh, whoa. OBS just gonna. Oh, wait, what? Okay. OBS is being weird. But but Revan gave us the best waifu. Oh, are you talking about... Okay, this is Dojo in our chat. Are you talking about Lana? Dojo? If you are, Lana's great. Lana Blanco's great.
Of course.
Lana Blanco, yeah. Bingo? I thought it was Blanco. My internet's unstable. What? Oh, there it goes. It goes away. God, it's all over the place today. But yeah, those two expansions went on a chapter style where there's specific, like, I think there's like 20 some chapters in one expansion, like another 20 something in the second expansion, and those are heavy story related stuff, which is super nice. My only downside is in between expansions they make you do flashpoints, And as Austin said earlier, flashpoints are dreadful if you don't have a team to
Yeah,
go in with and playing solo, because
they really
they've
are.
finally they've added AI. You can have one of your AI, like, you when you're playing the game, you have an AI teammate always with you doing either healing, tanking, or damage. You can set them to whatever. And doing the flashpoints, you get a droid as an extra companion, but even then, like, it will take you. It takes me like an hour to do a flashpoint by myself. Um, but if you have a full team, it takes you like 15, 20 minutes maybe, because it's people know what they're doing, and there's 4 of you, and yeah, it's just better to have a team. And yes, Dojo, they made Flashpoint solo now, which is somewhat nice if you just are a
Yeah,
solo player, but it still
and you
takes
have the time.
you need to have the time. Literally the only downside. So, getting into more of Swtor, we do have classes and the playable species, which this is where it gets really cool. So, within Star Wars: The Old Republic, there are a total of 8 classes divided between the 2 factions, Republic and Imperial. Each class has 2 advanced classes, which they completely changed that. Players choose the side of the Galactic Republic. They can decide to be a Jedi Knight or Counselor of the Jedi Order, a Republic Trooper, or a Smuggler. For the Sith Empire faction, players can choose between Bounty Hunter, Imperial Agent, Sith Warrior, or Sith Inquisitor. Now, they completely changed the advanced class system. That is no longer a thing. It's now they changed it to combat styles.
Hmm.
So when you have a character, you choose their when you create a character and choose their class, you can choose a specific style of combat that you want to use. So for Jedi and Sith characters, specifically using the Force, you have single blade, double blade, dual wield. I think that's just those, right? Those 3. I thought there was a 4th.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just those 3. Those styles of combat, but there's 4 in each total, because you get different abilities depending on the combat style. So there's 4 light side, 4 dark side. When you choose any other character that uses, standard blaster weapons, you can choose any of the styles and it doesn't matter, which is super nice. So, like, my bounty hunter has a single blaster pistol, or I have him as, I think, dual blaster pistols or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I
My
think
oh god,
I'm a big fan of just the classic, the single blade
mm-hmm.
style. Um, I think dual wielding is technically like a better DPS build, but I could never get it to work.
Oh yeah, I have my Jedi Knight's a single blade, but my Jedi Counselor is a dual wield. Because originally, so how the classes were set up, the Jedi Knight can have a single blade or double blade, where Jedi Counselor is dual wield or double blade, I think, or it might be Jedi Knight's single and then dual, and then Counselor is double or dual. I can't remember. It's been so long since they updated it. It's just better, and it's hard to
Hmm.
remember what the original specs were for the classes. But regardless, you can change up and have completely different stuff now to what they originally would allow you to play with. So, when creating a character, there are 10 different species available. Though each class is restricted to only 4 or 5 by default, players can unlock the ability to create characters with other locked species as they progress through the game as the species in another class. So the species initially available were the Chiss, cyborgs, humans, Muraluka, Marylands, Ratataki, Sith purebloods, Twi'leks, and Zabraks, of which only humans, cyborgs, and Zabraks are available to non-subscribers. Although later updates added the Cathar, Togruta, and the Nautilans as playable races, purchasable through the cartel coins, which is the cartel market, which is the online, hey, use your own money to buy cool stuff. Which I bought cool stuff because there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, if you subscribe, you get a certain number of
you
cartel
get
tokens a month.
Yep, you get, I think, 550 or something. I can't
Something
remember.
like that.
Yeah,
It's
where it's
enough to
like,
if you wanted to save up, after a couple months you could buy a pack. Or if you have you see an armor pack, normally it's enough to get the armor pack.
right. Yeah, and they do cartel sales every week, and they do massive sales, I think once every couple months, so there's a lot of cool stuff. They tie in a lot to the current Star Wars. So, right now, they added new, packs of cosmetic packs that are dedicated in the style of Star Wars The Acolyte, or Star Wars The Mandalorian, or Ahsoka, and stuff like that, which is really cool. So even though it's a Legends continuity of style of game and the history, it's still keeping up with all the major things of Star Wars, which is nice.
Yes.
So with the game update 3.0, the skill tree system was removed and placed with the discipline system, which adds 3 disciplines named after the original skill trees of each advanced class that supply players with new skills and abilities in a more level-oriented fashion. Instead of using skill points to purchase abilities and the perks from one of the 3 ability trees, which focus players to buy unwanted perks in order to reach perks on higher branches, players choose one discipline and spend their points on perks and abilities that are designed specifically for the advanced class. In addition to active and passive abilities, disciplines included utility selections that were a mixture of old abilities and skills from the original system, as well as new perks. Which it's kind of like that. Still, there was an update to where they still have the discipline system, but you don't get points when you level up or anything like that. You just unlock new abilities as you level up, to where it's much more fleshed out and simpler for people. That way, it's one less thing you really have to worry about.
Correct.
Which, honestly, I like more, because it's something less I have to do, I'm all for it. So, but with that being said, let's take a quick mid-break, and we'll be right back.
All right, let's do it.
Experience a membership that backs what you're building with American Express Business Platinum. Unlock over $4,000 in business and travel value annually with statement credits on select purchases from brands like Dell, ChatGPT Business, Hilton, and Adobe, and other benefits. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Based on total potential value of statement credits on select purchases and other benefits, enrollments required, monthly and other limits and terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
In Michigan, you can feel the energy everywhere in the fresh breeze of a riverfront stroll or nightlife that hums with electricity. Let it bring you together in pure Michigan. Find your season at michigan.org.
All right. Welcome to the middle of the show where we take time to talk about the things going on with the show. And so today, or right now, we would like to thank our patrons. Thank you to all of our patrons who support the show. And I believe, Ben, we have a new patron to shout out today.
We do have a new awesome patron by Lord Bandicoot. He signed up for the Jedi Knight Sith Warrior tier, so I already know they're Jedi Knight. It's already know. Or with Lord in the name, who knows? They might be a Sith.
Who knows? Wasn't there was a Jedi Lord? Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. I have to look it up.
But we also... Yeah, go on. Sorry.
So yeah, you can support us like that on Patreon. To go to patreon.com/holocronhistories. You can also support us by leaving ratings and reviews on Apple and Spotify, and we have a new review to read.
Yes, we have some new reviews and comments on Spotify. So the new review is, again, by Lord Bandicoot. 5 stars. Awesome podcast. Amazing podcast this is. Finally, podcast information, entertaining, and humorous, especially when Ben mispronounces and or butchers names, planets, or just words in general. You're welcome. Ben must use the Force to pronounce words correctly. It's your only hope, LOL. Always enjoy each episode. Could you guys do episodes on Darth Malak, Darth Nihilus, or more KOTOR characters in general?
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, that is something we'll eventually do, yes.
Yes. And then you had some Spotify comments?
Yes. On our last 2 episodes, actually, Zach commented on our Kotosis episode saying, if you need help getting info for everyday life on the average citizen in the galaxy, he's willing to help. Thank you, Zach.
Okay.
And also, he says, Chimere is a Star Wars version of Snape. Fight me.
Okay.
That's
definitely a take.
Well, that's a take, all right.
I don't know, Ben, as the official Harry Potter podcast person, I think you should take that one.
I don't know how is he a Snape? That's what I'm curious about.
I don't know.
Because Snape did bad things to protect the one he loved, or try to protect the one he loved, and in honor of her death, to protect her only son. Chimere's just, a guy who murdered people and didn't care. So I don't know how he's a Snape. You might have to comment on us again and let us know what you mean by that, because I don't know how he could be a Snape. That's just my opinion. But yeah, that's what we got this week for reviews and comments.
Yeah. So thanks for that. Lastly, you can check us out live every Tuesday, though this is Monday. But you can check us out live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/ it's still Ben of Temeria, right?
Yeah, it's still Ben of Temeria. I'm not changing that name. That's still going to stay the same.
Yes, so you can find us there. You can also hang out with us on Discord to hang out with us on Discord to just chat about whatever. Cups Podcasting Discord, Ben and Friends Podcasting, whatever. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, Ben and Friends Podcasting. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We got this.
Whatever Discord you're on, that's great. Come hang out with us. Other than that, I think that's all we have for the middle of the show.
Cool. Well, with that being said, let's get back into more Swtor and talk about a bit more of these classes.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
When you're a mid-sized business, you need every competitive advantage you can get. Like an AI solution that works for you, not against you. SAP Grow is built with AI embedded at its core, working across every system. And it's ready to go from day one, so you can hit the ground running. Bring it with SAP Grow, AI Cloud ERP for any size business.
All right, we're back. And now we are going to dive a little bit deeper into the classes themselves. So we are going to start with the Galactic Republic. And we are going over the Trooper class, which is a primary long-range class for the Republic faction and utilizes a variety of blaster weaponry depending on the player's advanced class or combat style. Players initially chose between a cyborg, human, Marilyn, or Zabrak before the release of the game update 1.2. And the 2 advanced classes for the Trooper are the Vanguard and Commando. Vanguards are classified as ranged tanks or close quarter damage, and are equipped with rifles, melee weapons, and shield generators. The second advanced class, the Commando, is classified as either range damage or healer and carry a large assault cannon as their primary weapon. Both advanced classes share the assault specialist skill tree, which teaches to use the explosives or grenades. And the Vanguard's tactics and shield specialist trees deal with close range combat with shielding respectively. For the Commando, the combat medic tree boosts healing abilities, and the gunnery tree adds a maximizing the damage dealt by assault cannons. The trooper class starts with the planet of Ord Mantell and receives the BT-7 Thunderclap as the personal vessel. The class's 5 companions are Ark Jorgen, M14X, Alaya Tanovic, and Yoon. So, and obviously going over all the advanced classes, those are still in the game. It's just now you can choose them on all of the ranged characters or any character that uses blaster weaponry. So, and when we go over the Jedi ones, all the Force users can use any of these advanced classes as their combat styles, which is super nice. But yeah, my trooper has a giant assault cannon and he's wearing a really cool armor and looks like a stealth trooper kind of, but it's essentially looks like clone armor. It's awesome. Then we have the Jedi Counselor, which is one of the 2 Force using classes for the Republic. Primary focus is on the use of the Force for offense and defense over the use of a lightsaber. Players choose between the Jedi Shadow and Jedi Sage advanced classes. Shadows are classified as melee damage or melee tanks and make use of the infiltration and kinetic combat skill trees. These trees teach stealth abilities and double-bladed lightsaber combat, respectively, and the Shadow shares the Force power-based balance skill tree with the Sage. The Sage advanced class is classified either range damage or healing, as they are trained in telekinesis skill tree, which benefits offensive force powers, or the Seer tree, which supports healing and protection, in addition to the balance skill tree. Only the human, Myraluka, Marilyn, and Tweak and Zabrak species were available for the Counselor class initially, though the Legacy system unlocks the other species. Like the Jedi Knight class, the Counselor receives a Defender-like Corvette as their personal vessel, and the Counselor's class's 5 companions are Quaislin Fess, Nadia Grill, Zenith, and Tharian Sidrak, and Felix Irso. And Quaislin is a Trandoshan that you find on the your starting planet, which is Tython. And he's pretty sweet. He's all about the Great Hunt. And then next we have the Smuggler class, which is a long-range covert class for the Republic faction, serving as a counterpart to the Imperial Agent class, and favoring blaster weaponry, stealth abilities, and healing. The Smuggler advanced classes are the Scoundrel, which focuses on healing and stealth, and the Gunslinger, which wields 2 blasters and focuses on damage. Both utilize cover mechanic to fire their weapons from relative safety. The range damaged Gunslinger uses the Saboteur skill tree, which adds explosives and advanced technology abilities to prolong fighting, and the Sharpshooter tree, which works on precision and high damage attacks. And the 2 advanced classes share the Dirty Fighting tree, which focuses on general damage and avoiding the enemy's attacks. The Scoundrel is designed as close quarters damage or medicine/healing, and the class makes use to either single blaster or scattergun, while using the healing-based Sawbones and stealth-based Scrapper skill trees. Only the human, cyborg, Marilyn, Twi'lek, and Zabrak species were initially available for the Smuggler. Through all species are now available through the And the Smuggler uses the XS Stocklight Freighter as their starship. The Smuggler's companions are Corso Riggs, Risha, Bodar, Akvi Spar, and Gus Tuno. And Bodar is a Wookiee. So yes, your Smuggler definitely gets a Wookiee, as he should.
Yes, I would expect nothing less.
And the XS Stocklight Freighter looks somewhat Millennium Falcon-ish.
Yeah, if I
Being a freighter.
remember, because don't we see something similar in one of the trailers?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's
Yeah, with oh god, what's his name? Because you can get him. You can get a lot of the trailer characters. You can get two of the trailer characters as companions later down the game. I can't remember his name on the top of my head, but yes, it was with
yeah,
the trailer with Basila or not Basila, Satil Shan and her
Satil's.
master fighting
Uh-huh.
Malgus and his master. It's that smuggler. Yeah, that's his ship. Is the XS
Yeah,
light
it looks
freighter.
like a cross between the Millennium Falcon and the Outrider.
The Outrider. Okay. I
That's
was gonna say
Dash
it looks.
Radar's shirt.
I was gonna say it's gonna be. I think it's like a more of a mix between the Ebon Hawk and the Millennium Falcon too.
Yeah,
But yeah, the smuggler's a lot of fun. You can make them very witty, which is freaking hysterical if you listen to them.
hmm
And the last class we were going over in the Republic is the Jedi Knight, which is the second Force using class for the Republic and focuses on lightsaber combat and Force powers as a secondary asset. Players choose between the Jedi Guardian and Jedi Sentinel advanced classes, which focus on heavy armor and dealing damage respectively. Guardians wear heavy armor and carry a single lightsaber and are classified as melee tanks or melee damages, and they make use of the Vigilance and Defense skill trees. These trees teach single blade combat and defensive abilities, respectively, and the Force technique center around focus skill tree is shared by both Guardians and Sentinels. Sentinels are classified as only as melee damage and use two lightsabers, forsaking the ability to use heavy armor in exchange for increased damage. The Sentinel's Watchman's skill tree adds the player's single-bladed offensive potential, while the combat tree teaches general combat to help quickly eliminate enemies. Only the human, Marlurka, Maryland, Twi'lek, and Zabrak species were initially available for the Jedi Knight, though all species are now available. The Knight class receives a Defender class light corvette as their personal vessel, just as the Counselor does. So it's Jedi. So that's what you're going to hear is the Force using classes use the same ship. So even for the Sith side, the Warrior and the Inquisitor use the same style ship, just like the Counselor and the Jedi Knight. It was just an easier thing to use since they're going to be coming from the same organization, essentially, from either side. And the Knight's 5 companions are T-701, Kira Carson, Doc, Fenderlin Rusk, and Lord Scourge. And as Dojo points out, the Knight was essentially the scrapped storyline for KOTOR 3. And it essentially is what we would have gotten in KOTOR 3. But yeah. And I love these companions. I love T7 because T7's great, and I love the T-series droids because you can't you I have love for T3. T3 is great, and now I have a T7. And then Kira is awesome too because she eventually does become your Padawan, and then you could also have romantic relationships because being a BioWare game. And Lord Scourge has a major thing because he's in one of the novels, which we'll go into later, just a little bit. But I know this is a class that both me and Austin have played, so what was your thoughts
yes, I liked the Jedi class. I liked the Jedi class, their Knight class. It was a good story. It was very KOTOR-esque. It was it was a good story with good companions. The whole Children of the Emperor thing was really interesting. I remember the last fight against Vitiate being a pain in the butt because if you didn't counter in a certain way, it would kill you right away.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. As Dojo says in chat, Knight also has the most history with the Emperor. So the Emperor, meaning Vitiate, which we have talked about on the podcast before, as the major bad. He comes back later in the back half of Shadow Revenant into the entire storyline with Knights of the Fallen Empire and Knights of the Eternal Throne. And if you have a Jedi Knight character, you have a lot more dialogue options with him and a lot more dialogue in general with Vitiate because of your whole base game storyline, which is really, really cool. And it's something, which is important to the Eternal Throne expansions. Yes. So that's something really cool, and that's why I always recommend, if you are wanting to play Swtor and you haven't yet, and you haven't played the Jedi Knight storyline, I highly recommend playing the Jedi Knight storyline because it's really good, and especially with the tie-ins with the expansions later down the line.
And it's the most like classic Star Wars story.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's fun. It's great. So moving to the Sith Empire. So we have the Bounty Hunter, which is the Empire's long-range tank class, and counterpart to the Trooper, focusing on blaster weaponry, armor, and damage-dealing equipment and abilities. The Bounty Hunter advanced classes are the Power Tech and the Mercenary. The Power Tech wears heavy armor and shielding, focuses on defensive tactics, while the Mercenary focuses on overwhelming force using missiles, blasters, and an array of other weapons. The Power Tech can be classified as a ranged tank, ranged damage, or close quarters damage, and uses the skill Shield Tech and Advanced Prototype skill trees to boost one's defensive technology and to heighten the versatility of the player's gear and skills, respectively. The Firebug skill tree, which focuses on missiles and flamethrowers, is shared between the Power Tech and the Mercenary, and the Mercenary makes use of the Arsenal and Bodyguard skill trees to focus their rocketry or healing, respectively. The Chiss, Cyborg, Human, Ratataki, and Zabrak species were available for the class initially, though all other species are now available. And the Mercenary can be classified as a range damaged or medicine healing. The Bounty Hunter uses the D5 Mantis patrol craft as their personal vessel, and the class's companions are Mako, Torian Kadra, Golt Renro, Blizz, and Skulge. And the D5 Mantis is essentially literally a Boba Fett ship style.
Does it fly the same way?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think so, if I recall. I believe
Did
it
you
does.
ever do any of the
Kinda.
space battles?
It kind of does. What do you mean by the space battle? Are you talking about like the PvP or like the PvE one? It's like
the PvE one.
Yes, I've done those. So there is a PvE space battle thing on your ship that you can do to do missions for whatever faction you're a part of. And it's literally a track shooter. So your ship does its own thing, and you just put the mouse wherever you want to fire, and you shoot. But yeah, I've done quite a bit of those. I have fully done the Bounty Hunter storyline, and I will tell you it's really, really fun because you take part of the Great Hunt, as for all bounty hunters, to become the best in the galaxy. You do meet Mandalore during this time as well, partway through the story, and he offers you to become a Mandalorian. So you can accept or decline and be a Mandalorian, which is really, really cool. And you get to carbonite people, like going after your targets. Each planet has you have a target, and you can like freaking put them in carbonite, which is freaking sweet. So yeah, I'm the Bounty Hunter one's a lot of fun if you just literally is what it says. And one of your companion, Blizz, is a freaking Jawa. You have a Jawa companion. It's great.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And Mako's also really great too. She's your first companion you get. So now we have the Sith Inquisitor, which is the Empire's force-using classes and counterpart to the Jedi Counselor, focusing on force powers over lightsaber combat. The Inquisitor's advanced classes are Assassin, which uses a double-bladed lightsaber and stealth abilities, and the Sorcerer, which relies on offensive force powers and healing. The Assassin is classified as either melee damage or melee tank and uses Deception and Darkness skill trees, and adds stealth abilities and defensive abilities respectively, and the Assassin shares the Force-Focused Madness skill tree with the Sorcerer. The Sorcerer carries a single-bladed lightsaber in combat, serves as a range damage or medicine healing role. The and can access abilities from the Lightning skill tree or the Healing Focus Corruption skill tree, in addition to the Madness tree. The human Ratakati, Sith Pureblood, Twi'lek, and Zabrak species were available for the Inquisitor initially. All the species are now available. The Inquisitor receives the Fury-class Interceptor as a personal starship, like the Sith Warrior. And the class's companions are Kimval, Anadralic, Ravel. I don't know if I've ever got him. Ashra, Zarvos, Talos, Drellic, and Zalek. So yeah, they go into alien names because you have aliens on your team. Which is something the Empire don't like. Which is, if you play the game, you'll understand. Kimval, which is who your first companion, is an ancient, like, Sith warrior alien thing, which is tied to your prologue story, which is interesting. Then we had, now we have the Imperial Agent, which is a long-range covert class of the Empire, favoring stealth abilities and healing in addition to blaster weaponry. The advanced class of the Imperial Agent classes are the Sniper, which utilizes long-range blaster fire and improved probes to focus damage, and the Operative, which focuses on healing and stealth. Both advanced classes utilize cover mechanic to fire the enemies from relative safety, and the two share the lethal skill tree and benefits the agent's toxin and poison skills. The range damage sniper uses marksmanship skill tree, which adds long distance damage abilities for behind cover, and engineering's tree, which benefits the sniper's probe droids and damage enemies from aid the player. The Operative serves as close quarters damage and medicine/healing, and the class makes use of vibro knives, blaster, and improved darks, while benefiting from the stealth-based concealment tree and the healing-based medic tree. Only the Chiss, Cyborg, Human, Ratataki, and Zabrak species were initially available through the agent, though all species are now available. I don't know why they have that. And the Imperial Agent uses the X-70B Phantom class prototype as their vessel. And the agent's companions are Kalio Dranus, Vector Hylas, Eckhard Lorcan, Rana Temple, and Scorpio. And this is like if you think of a ship, it looks very close to Maul's ship from the Clone Wars and Phantom Menace. And it's meant for a stealth-based covert operations, which is really cool. And then the last class we'll be going over is the Sith Warrior, which is the counterpart to the Jedi Knight, the primary focus-based force-using class, the Empire. The advanced classes of the Warrior are the Juggernaut and the Marauder, which focus on heavy damage and damage respectively, or heavy armor, sorry. And the Juggernaut uses heavy armor and a single lightsaber, while the Marauder uses 2 lightsabers. The Juggernaut uses a melee tank or melee damage and uses the Vengeance skill tree and focuses on powerful attacks, and the Immortal skill tree, which grants defensive abilities with bonuses. Both advanced classes also have access to the Rage skill tree and benefits force powers. The Marauder, on the other hand, is a strictly melee damage class and it accesses the heavy attack, focus, and annihilation skill tree and the Carnage tree and benefits attack speed. The Cyborg, Human, Sith Pureblood, Twi'lek, and Zabrak species were originally the only species available, though other species are now available. And the Warrior uses the Fury class Interceptor as their starship, and the Sith Warrior's companions are Vet, Malave Quinn, Pierce, Janessa Wilson, and Brunmark. Which this is another one I have fully finished the base story for. And the Sith Warrior is also a lot of fun because it's the traditional, you become an apprentice of a Lord of the Sith, you get betrayed by said Sith, you then take revenge on that Sith, and then ascend to a higher position in the Empire, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot of betrayal and a lot of vengeance, which is a lot of fun.
Well, that's the Sith, man. That's the Sith.
That is the Sith. And then we actually have, I didn't know they did this. They have comic series. I didn't know they even did comics for this.
I knew
So
the
they
books,
have,
but not the comics.
yeah, I know the books. I have some of the books digitally. I just never did. I never knew they had comics. Um, so we have Treat of Peace, which was first tie-in web. Oh, that's why we never heard of it. It's a web comic for the game, and reprinted in the first arc in the Star Wars: The Old Republic comic series, released in the original game's original site. Thread of Peace was released in 3 issues over the course of 2009 and early 2010. Then you have Blood of the Empire, which is the second webcomic re-released for the game and the second arc of Star Wars: The Old Republic comic series, as well as developed for far closer to the game's release date. Its artwork and story elements resemble those in the games far more closely than Treat of Peace. So they started getting closer to what the actual product was going to look like. And the Lost Suns, which was the third arc in the Star Wars Galaxy Old Republic comic series, but the Lost Suns was released as a 5-issue miniseries and did not continue the previous arc's numbering. So it wasn't 3 pieces, and it was instead 5. So 3 instead of 3 issues, it's 5 issues.
That makes sense.
And then there is a novel series, which I've read 2 of them out of the 4. So there's Fatal Alliance, which is the first novel of the Old Republic, written by Sean Williams, released in July 20th, 2010. Fatal Alliance has been planned since at least 2008 and set shortly before the events of the prologue in the Old Republic. You have the Old Republic Deceived, which is the book on Malgus specifically, and which takes place right before the events of the game again. And you kind of get a bit more of a backstory of why the Jedi Temple was destroyed and stuff like that you don't get in the game, because you don't hear any of this in the game. Mind you.
And why they're on like a quote unquote Cold War and that they're technically like not at war.
Yeah, you get all that in the book that you don't actually get in the game, which I think is kind of like, okay, whatever. You have the Old Republic Revan, which is the third novel of the Old Republic novel series, and was written by Drew Capershin. One of the writers for both Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic. And this novel takes place before, it's a sequel to KOTOR 2.
Yeah, well, it begins after KOTOR 1.
True.
And then it jumps to after KOTOR 2, and that's where it ends.
It's like literally half the novel is after the events of KOTOR 1, and the last half of the novel is the events after KOTOR 2.
Correct.
It was interesting, but you get a lot more info on Revan specifically and what he did after the events of KOTOR 1.
Mm-hmm. And you get,
which will tie into KOTOR or Swtor itself because of Shadow of Revan and all that.
And you get just like follow up, a little bit of closure to some of the like threads that were left by the end of KOTOR 2. You learn like
a true ending.
Yeah, you learn what happened to Revan to like cause him to turn and attack the Republic, all of these things. It's a really good book.
It's a very good book, and like Austin said, it ties up a lot of loose ends that we never got in those 2 games. 7 years later, 7 to 8 years later after the fact. And then the last book is The Old Republic Annihilation, which is the 4th novel of the Old Republic series, and the first set chronologically after the game's main storyline. Because this deals with Theron Shan, which is the son of Satele Shan, and it takes place after the base game, but before like the major expansions. But so I think that's all I had to cover for Swtor. If you want to know more about Swtor or learn more of the story, go play it. It's free to play.
Yeah.
As long as you have PC, you are free to play, and you can be it's on Steam, or you can download specifically from the Swtor website.
Right. It's a great game. And you can do all the major stories for like all the major like classes.
Class stories.
Class Stories, that's free to play. But even if you subscribe for 1 month, you'll get all of the,
Get
as Ben
all
probably
the
alluded to,
expansions and everything to your account.
and you'll have that forever.
Yeah, you will not lose it. It's not like a well, I can't think of any other MMO that does that, because all the other MMOs
No.
you have to buy the expansion.
hmm
So
Right, because like Elder Scrolls, you have to buy the upgrade and then you
Yeah.
have it. It's not a subscription type thing. Though I think the Elder Scrolls does have like a subscription
you
based
have
service.
subscription, but the thing with the subscription, it doesn't include the most recent expansion. You have to buy the
Yeah.
expansion, period.
Mhm.
FF14, you still have to buy the expansion, and you have to sub to that game to play it.
Uh-huh.
So
But yeah, it's a great game. It's regularly being updated. It's had graphical updates as well. So like it looks like it should play. I mean, it still looks dated, but it looks
Oh, yeah.
like if you have a modern machine, you're not going to run into like classic old school Star Wars games of I have to turn off the grass to play KOTOR.
right. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah. Which that remind. Oh no, I do have Swtor. I have it installed. I need to update the game, which is going to take forever.
Yeah, I was about to say you got a week.
Yeah, right, pretty much. That's the only problem with the Swtor. It's so big. But yeah, I mean, it's a great game, free to play. You can play all of the base game stuff. There's 8 classes that you can play for free. That's 1,600 hours you can play for free. If you want to do
And
more
it's
than that, subscribe for 1
and
month.
the basic story is not really like flashpoints and other
Yeah.
stuff, though it is. You have to be careful. It does get difficult in some places.
Yes. Yes, you do have to be level specific in areas. Don't go anywhere under leveled because you're going to get stomped.
No, this isn't
It's not
AC Valhalla where you
no.
can fight 20 levels
Or it's
below
not
the
even
suggested level.
and it's not ESO to where they don't even have a leveling system for those zones. The zones level with you as the player, which is nice. But yeah, Swtor is a level specific game to where you want to be whatever and when you go to a planet, it will tell you what levels you should be to play on that planet. So,
And
but as long as you play
you
the story,
also
you'll be in the levels. You'll be with the level.
you also don't need that powerful of a machine to play it.
The game came out in 2011. You don't need nothing
Right.
too specific.
No, you'll get some like low frame rates in like the hub area, which is called. There's one for Republic and
They're
there's
the
one for
fleet.
Sith Empire.
Well, they're just
Yeah,
the
the fleet. I mean, even like high grade like monsters of machines get frame rate drops at the fleet because there's just so
There's
much.
just so many players because it's just one. Well, there's multiple servers, and we do. We have a Swtor guild that we haven't been on, and God knows I don't know how long.
Yeah.
on this Teal Sean server. So if you guys want to play, you can hit one of us up, or hit me up, or one of us on Discord. We should be able to get you in the guild, but like we haven't done anything with that guild, and I don't know how long because there's a bunch of other games we play.
Right. But anyway, we're out of time. Thank you for bringing all this. Swtor is a great game. Go play it. Thank you all for listening to the Holocron Histories podcast.
And may the Force be with you. Thank you for listening to Holocron Histories, Star Wars Canon versus